Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 9 here on Riverbend Springs with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it's the following day, which makes it July 2nd. It is just after 6 o'clock in the morning. We have nice long days here now in the summertime on Riverbend, and it looks like it's going to be a gloriously nice day here on the farm, which we are going to take advantage of by getting an early start. We have a fair bit that we want to accomplish today. Now, I did finish off the canola harvest on our 3 fields yesterday. We got through, 39,900 liters of canola, which represents $52,000 worth of farm income at peak price. So that's already a good increase over last year on farm income. But we're going to make a change here, and hopefully that adds to farm income, not takes it the other way. But as I mentioned, I want to join these 3 fields together and make one large grass field for making silage bales, mostly to sell. But once we work our way through the hay we have on hand, we'll use some of that silage to feed our cattle. But in order to do that, we need to break up these areas here in between the fields. Now, we could use our disc cultivator here to do that, but we're not going to for a couple of reasons. The discs that they use to break ground are, what we call them heavy discs, and this is really not one of those, and just its design doesn't lend itself very well to this job. So what I have done is I have leased a standard shovel type cultivator that is 3-point link mounted, which will give us good control, and that's what we're going to use to break up these strips here. And then we will use our cultivator to break up the rest of, or what's remaining in the field, because our seeder is not a direct drill, so we need to do some field cultivation before we can put seed in the ground with it. So that's what we're going to start with here. But before we do that, let's run around the corner here. I have got something to show you. Our chickens are happy with their new home, and they're providing eggs already. So I had some farm fresh eggs for breakfast. So this has worked out really well. Okay, I'm off to the shop. I will get our cultivator, and I will meet you back here, and we'll start work on this field. So I will see you in just a few minutes. Well, welcome back to the farm. A little bit later in the day, we wasted about an hour because this is take 2. I had made a wee mistake. Now, I have a mod on that allows us to create fields with cultivators, and I was using that because I didn't want to have to deal with rocks in this area. So I had leased a shallow cultivator, and we ripped this area up, and all was well. And then I jumped out and said, you know what, we better check, because I'll bet you we need to put lime down in these strips. And sure enough, we did, but they also needed plowing. Now, if we were using precision farming, we could have just left it, because if you didn't plow your grass fields, it didn't affect your yield at all. But I think in just the base game configuration it will. So I had to return that cultivator, and I leased this, a subsoiler. So this should get rid of that requires plowing need, but unfortunately it will bring up rocks. So we are going to have to deal with rocks in these 2 strips. Just we don't have any cheap rock picking options right now in game, and but we're just going to have to suck it up, because we definitely want to pick the rocks up. We don't want to leave them, because this will be the only opportunity we have to get them. So let's lower this down and see how it looks. Actually, you know, let's take it. Actually, that looked really good. So let's turn on allow create fields here, and we will creep ahead. And I am going to leave you in for this again. Hopefully you get to see this one. Now, I don't think these fields are perfect. Oh, actually, not too bad. Not too bad. All right, we'll lift that up here. Swing back around. There are our rocks. So, is what it is. We back up here a little bit more. So we can take a little bite out of that grass field. It's not going to hurt. Now I did mulch that grass field. I mulched our canola fields, and I found out that I could now mulch the grass field because it had 1 month growth on it. So we should get 100% yield now on that field. But I think if I understand it correctly, we'll have set it back a month. But that's okay because it'll just line it up with our remaining grass field. But at least it'll all have 100% yield on it now. So we could continue to do that, wait for the first month's growth and mulch it down and get that 3% back. But we would, if I'm understanding it correctly, lose a month. But because we can actually cut it in the first harvest state without losing yield, it would put us in exactly the same position we would have been in 22, I think, if I've got that all straight in my head. Yeah. Interesting thing about this tractor, and I'm using it on a couple maps, and it is the only one I found so far that does not remember the last gear you were in for reverse. All the other ones do. It remembers what gear you were in for the forward gear, but not the reverse gear. It's kind of interesting. Not that big a deal, but it's the only one. Back up here and grab that. Looks like that's as close as we're going to get. So we do have a little extra work, and I wasted a little time, so that's a nice combination. It really won't take us very long to pick these rocks up. It's just a shame. It's fairly expensive to lease that rock picker, but it is what it is. Like I said, we definitely want to get them off the ground. There's a funny little graphics thing going on there. I don't know if you can notice that, but there's every once in a while right there, a little strip. I'll zoom out a bit. It looks like it hasn't been subsoiled, and then suddenly the texture snaps in. So there's still a few little issues going on with the game. Now, once I get this, these strips created, we'll line those areas, and then we're going to fertilize the entire field, and that'll give us our first coat of fertilization, and we'll work that in with our cultivator. And then once we get it seeded, we'll be able to do our second application of fertilizer, and our field will be totally fertilized. Now we'll just back this up till it kind of lines up. And away we go. So there'll be a little messing around there. But we'll do the rocks first. So the rocks, lime, fertilizer. That's the order of things. And then, of course, seeding, and then fertilizer. Now, I didn't check. Actually, we can do that now. I'm curious. What's the crop calendar like? Can we put our canola back in? No, not till next month. So we'll put canola back in the field across the road, but we can't do that till next month. But we can get the field prepped while we're doing this. So it's ready to go. Well, it looks like it could have gone just a hair more, but it's close enough. Just a grass field anyways. I'm too picky about that. I know. I spend too much time worrying about that kind of stuff. Especially in an application like this where it's just going to be all grass. We need to get over just a little bit, I think. There we go. So I hope we don't take a hit financially on this. Silage is still pretty good here in FS25. So we should get 3 cuttings at least. So I think if it holds true to FS22, we will actually increase our farm income by doing this. Of course, we will have to give some up occasionally to feed the cows once our hay is gone. But we'll have more than enough to sell. Not enough to warrant buying the BGA or anything like that, but still some good farm income. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to return this to the store, and I'll lease a rock picker, and we'll come back and we'll take care of these pesky rocks. You can see I've got all the equipment sitting out. I just find it easier in the summertime when we're using it all, just to leave it kind of staged. And I've noticed that, at least in my area, a lot of farmers do that. They'll leave what current equipment they're using staged in their yards for easy access because, they don't have individual parking spaces for each item in a shed. It's kind of all packed in there. So anyways, I'm going to head to the shop. I will see you back here at the farm with a rock picker. So we'll catch up with you in a minute. Well, we're back with our stone picker here. Now this is not going to take very long. It's just it costs like $3,000 to lease this thing. So it's fairly pricey to lease, but you know what? We did catch a bit of a break because I went and had a look, and there is a stone picking contract that would cover off not 100% of the lease, but a good chunk of it. So we won't return this when we're done. We'll hang on to it, and I'll try and sneak that stone picking contract in before we return it. So it didn't work out so bad after all. Now I did manage to get a couple contracts done yesterday before the end of the day, so our money is up. We're just over $50,000 now, is where we're sitting after leasing this equipment, so we're not in bad shape. Although I think we'll have to buy a little lime. I don't know, I'll have to do some run around. I might have some squirreled away someplace, I can't remember, but I'll have to take a look. If not, we'll have to buy a little bit. I guess we'll have some rocks too on this little piece here. Oh, I haven't moved those bales yet. Probably should do before I regret it. I don't know, you probably didn't notice, but you may have in the background. For some reason, after I moved our harvester out of there, our straw bales went flying all over the place, so I'm going to have to restack those up. Might even be able to sell them. I'll take a look at time saving stock check and see if they're worth hanging on to or if we should sell them. And just to get them out of the road. Although, I guess we don't have any way of hauling them to any sell point right now, do we? Oh, shoot. I thought I was done, but I got to do another strip here, don't I? Whoopsie. Well, I'll find a place to park this in our crowded yard here. And like I said, I have got to go on the scrounge for some lime. So we're not going to need very much. So I might be able to scrounge some up. But anyways, I will get that organized and bring you back in when we're ready to do some liming. So we'll catch up with you in just a few minutes. Well, here we go, ready to put lime down. I did have to buy a little bit. I had some I found, but wasn't enough to do this job. This is certainly not going to take long. Oh, and I did check too, and the subsoiler worked as I thought it would, and we no longer need to plow those little spots. So all is good. But here we go, and just that simple, and it is done. All right, now I need to switch out, and you know what? I think I might do the fertilizing off camera. It's same operation you just saw a little bit of, only more. And I'm going to fertilize all the fields, including the one across the road. So I'll get that done, and then I'll bring you back in again for the rest of the cultivating. So we'll see in a little bit. All right, so this is the last operation we need to do before we can seed. We need to cultivate the entire field to give us the seed bed we require for our cedar. But if we take a look at this, you can see that the AI detected that we've expanded that field and automatically made adjustments. Now, we're not going to use it this time because you can see it encompasses the grass field that's already there, but that's pretty cool. We didn't have to do anything in order to use that. So now we'll just drop it down here. We'll be nipping a little bit more out of that grass field, but that won't hurt anything. Now we'll use the grass field on this end as a runoff or a headland. And we'll have to put a bit of a headland at the other end because we run into the road down there. We gonna make it? Yes, we are. Swing around here. Now, a lot of out-of-cab work this episode, which is a bit unusual for me these days, but just the way it works out. Now, like I said, we're hovering around, I think around 53,000, maybe 52,000. Now, if we get this done in time and I can do a couple contracts, or 3 even today, I will. And I was thinking we might pay $50,000 towards our loan. If we have the money, there's no point in have it sitting in the bank. We can save ourselves a little interest. So may very well do that. But we need to do a couple contracts to make sure we have enough funds on hand for operating. Although we will need to buy a little fertilizer here. I'm trying to keep you guys out of the trees unsuccessfully. What I needed to do was this, but I ran out of hands. I ran out of fingers. Um, yeah, I didn't need to buy any fertilizer to do this first application, but I used just about all we had. So I will need to buy some for the next application after we're done planting, or seeding, I should say. I don't remember if I mentioned, but I did fertilize the other canola field across the road as well at the same time. And as soon as we're done this, I'll cultivate it as well. So it'll be ready for seeding next month. Now, I probably should have done the headlands last, but the unique shape of this implement, it just makes it easier to do the headlands first. Not that if you're careful you can't do it the other way, but I do use steering assist and do it the headlands last all the time, so it wouldn't really, I guess, make any difference. Just have to be a little careful that you don't overrun, that's all. Because it's not straight, it's a diamond shape. But it does allow for a nice tight turning radius on it, which is really nice. And now we should be able to just do back and forth. Oh, I guess we gotta roll this too, don't we? Can't forget about that. So we got a little bit of work yet to do. We could actually push the rolling and actual seeding off till tomorrow if we wanted to, if we need to get our contracts in for today. What time is it here? Oh, it's only 20 to 10, so we've got lots of daylight left yet. I see, even with a headland, I took a little bit more out of our grass field there. That's when I set it down. The back end was still in our grass field a little bit. That's because I didn't have it zoomed out quite enough to see. There we go. Not a big deal. Well, I shall carry on with this. As always, we're chewing up time faster than I think we are. So I will carry on. I'll get this field cultivated. I'm also going to cultivate the field across the road. And I will bring you back in and we will do some seeding. So we'll see you in a little while. Well, it's 11 a.m. and we are ready to put our grass in the ground. We're using the old John Deere for that. It works just fine. So we should have lots of time, I would think, to get our 3 contracts in for today. Because fertilizing is real quick and rolling doesn't take that long either. We are chewing up time pretty quickly in this episode, so I'll probably just show a little of each of these operations and then we'll leave it there. Now I think what I'll do here, that sign's in the road, we'll go around the corner a little bit here. This one. We will try and make a proper headland down here. Just a little tricky with that corner and that sign. I suppose we could look at upgrading our seeder to one that is a direct drill and would potentially put an application of fertilizer down at the same time. But they're pretty pricey, and I think I'd rather invest in more land. Would be a better investment for us. This seeder works pretty good. We got a decent sized cultivator, so we really don't have a need to upgrade. I mean, it would be nice to save one pass on the field of fertilizer, but really, like, we're not pressed for time to get our fields in, so better to put our money into fields. Yeah, I'm not sure. We gotta leave a little bigger headland than you would think, because you can't turn super sharp with this. If you do, it collides with the rear tire, so we need a little bit of room to get turned around. This actually implement might benefit from pulling it with the putting a drawbar on, and so it's set back a little bit further. You'd be able to turn a little sharper, I believe, if we did that. So I hope everyone had a good and safe New Year's. I'm recording this the day after New Year's Day. Of course, it'll be about a week or so before it comes out, but I hope everyone had a good New Year's and was looking forward to 2025. His gears are down a little bit. It seemed like it sounded like it was lugging a little bit. Now, I didn't have to buy seed. Our cedar was about 3/4 full. Should be more than enough, though, I would think, to get this done. But next time we go, like when we go to put the canola in, I suspect we'll have to invest in a little seed again. But I suppose I better leave you there, and I will carry on and get this done. And that should leave us a little time to show you the last of the fertilizing and the rolling. So I will catch up with you when we're ready to do the next operation. All right, we're on to the final couple phases here on our new grass field. These should go pretty quick, I'm thinking. Now, an interesting thing happened here. In just a second, I'll get up here and I'll jump out and explain. Interesting in a strange sort of way. So, you can see there's a texture change here. And what happened is, I happened to, when I came to this section, be traveling, the next pass was in this direction. And it seemed to pick up that little bit of texture here where our cultivator nipped the grass field, and it carried it on down the entire length of the field. I even tried turning around and coming back over top of it the other direction to see if it would correct it, but it didn't. So it's kind of a strange thing. I'm not quite sure why it did that. You can actually, if you look down there, you can see where I came back and I turned out, because I was wondering if it would overwrite that texture with the other one, but it didn't. Okay, we gotta get backed up here and turn around. Now, I was thinking as I was seeding there, that would be another good reason, saving the extra pass on the field, having a seeder that would fertilize too. But from a compaction standpoint in real life, it would make a difference. Well, we do have what they would consider flotation tires here on this tractor, but it still would offer up some compaction, I'm sure. Now, let's zoom in here a little bit and see if we can avoid those darn trees for at least one pass here. Just swing around. You can't really see where our fertilizer's going, but if we take a long corner there, it should be good. Don't know what our fertilizer application looks like, but at least you didn't get drugged through the trees. I did have to put a little squirt of fertilizer in here, or we wouldn't have had enough to do this field. Now, we did a fair number of fertilizing contracts last year. Of course, I guess technically we started in August, which is next month. Kind of like the roller. Haven't made a, actually, we haven't done a single rolling contract since we bought the roller. I think I have done one or two fertilizing contracts, but it certainly hasn't been a cash cow from a contract perspective. But we did need it for our farm, so it's worked out okay that way. Now I was thinking, even at limiting myself to 3 contracts a day, which would be the equivalent roughly 3 a week, or not quite because we're running 3 3-day months, but might be a bit excessive for real life. But we do want to make some progress, and this didn't want to go crazy because I have a bit of a contract addiction, I will admit. I can end up spending a lot of time doing them. And on my Can You Survive 25, I've got a contract farm on there, so I'm free to do all the contracts I want on Riverbend on that one. We'll just carry on here and we'll dump this off and we'll pick up our roller and get our rolling done, because that too is a pretty quick operation. Now, we'll just go in cab is what we'll do, and that avoids those trees altogether. Now there's our lime sitting there. I just unloaded the spreader there. I will get that picked up. There we go. Not a single contract yet with this guy. But didn't buy it for contracts. Oh yes, that's right. You better just sit and wait for this to unfold. And it actually doesn't have a lift. It's just down and that's it. Forgot about that. Now I wonder what this will do when we hit that texture. If this will override it. Oh yeah, it did. Oh, I guess we better make sure we swing back and get that other little piece there too at some point. Now, I don't think this will hurt anything if we just roll over our grass with it. Didn't appear to. What time are we getting to? 1 o'clock. So we've been at this since basically 6 o'clock, so we've spent a fair chunk of time, in-game time, on it. That's one of the reasons why I like to have the time cranked up a little bit, because he's kind of it's not like you start at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're done this job by 9. Now, let's just actually, I'm going to zoom in here a whole bunch more. We'll swing around like we did last time. See if we can't miss a bunch of those trees. Get you in a little closer and you can hear the equipment a little better too. There we go. Got that piece taken care of. Now, I think what we'll do here is we'll swing this way and right around here. I guess I could have taken and done some of this in cab too. But one nice thing about that, it avoids crashing through those trees for you guys. Usually not quite as efficient though, because I tend to leave a bigger overlap when I do it in cab. I don't know. I don't think you'd be able to hear her, but my granddaughter is standing at the top of the stairs calling me. She's run out of patience with this recording business today. She likes to spend time down here with me, and when I'm recording, of course, she can't do that. She has to stay upstairs, but she's expressing her displeasure with being trapped upstairs for the last couple hours. She's ready to come down and play. But the good news is we are just about done here. Once I get this done, like I've said it once or twice already in this episode, I'll get some contracts done And then I guess we'll see you next month because we'll put our canola in at least. I don't know what else we'll have to do. Our oat harvest should be coming up too at some point. And we'll put barley in that field. I guess I had said that we're sitting at about 50,000. I get a couple contracts under our belts. I might pay the loan off. Still might do that, but I likely might need to borrow it back because we got to do something about hauling these bales around because we're going to have straw bales when we make that oats. We're certainly not going to want to pack across the road one bale at a time, I don't think. But maybe we'll get lucky and something will come up in the used market between now and then. Got lucky with our baler. Well, I think I will sign off there because my granddaughter is really starting to yell for me. And we have both got this done, and I'm sure we have more than enough time in for an episode. So I'll just say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, don't forget about that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Riverbend Springs, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.